You are entering a portal of sensual evolution. This is Inner Orbit with Auburn Lily. I'm your host, and today we are diving into the astrology of May. The astrology of this month lands us in the full-blown embodiment and experience of the new chapter that the outer planets have effectively ushered into being. We've been slowly progressing toward exactly this moment, one where each of the outer planets have finally transitioned into their new signs. Pluto in Aquarius until 2043, Neptune in Aries until 2038, Uranus in Gemini until 2032, and Saturn in Aries until 2028. May features our primary luminary, the golden glowing sun, in both Taurus and Gemini. So, a sign of sensual embodiment into the sign of the communicative mind. This shift will likely emphasize the true difference between the Uranus and Taurus and Uranus and Gemini eras. Much like gaining your sea legs, this month initiates us into a season of acclimation to the new way. It marks a threshold of sensual evolution, allowing our bodies to fully recognize reality through truly and thoroughly sensing our new state of being. The remarkable astrological transits of this month allow us to bring ourselves fully online in this new age. So, if you're dropping into this piece in real time, blessed Beltane. Unfortunately, I had to reschedule our gathering last night because I fell ill, but I'm on the mend today. So, I wanted to go ahead and get this out to you to support you on your way. To make it up to you, I'm hosting a free call for our subscribers on Saturday, May 9th, and we'll go into more details in a second. And I also wanted to offer you something from deep in the archives. So, this PDF ritual guide that I have for you is a Beltane ritual guide from the very first iteration of the Crystalline Coven, all the way back in ye old 2021. So, enjoy this prayer fire ritual and have a blessed holy day from my heart to yours. If you want that Beltane PDF guide, the link is in the show notes. So let's drop into the astrology of the month. So, of course, we're kicking things off with a full moon in Scorpio on May 1st at 13:22 Eastern. This moon is a transmutation spell, a catharsis, and a complete alchemical re-becoming. It really brings our attention to the stark truth of matter while offering the medicine of embodiment as a solutionary path forward. So I go deeper into the alchemy of this moon in the last episode of Inner Orbit. And even though this piece is debuting after the moon was exact, I think that we can gain a lot of information from our full moons and our new moons, even once the moon is no longer in the sign where the full or new moon took place. It really speaks to a rhythm and a cycle of becoming for us as human beings, as water beings. So I highly recommend dropping into that episode if you haven't already. I'll include that in the notes for you as well. So I think the real opportunity here is to get clear on what you would like to release and what you would like to receive. Get a little witchy with it. Create ritual around this releasing and this reception. There's an invitation here to engage in automatic writing, which is essentially allowing your higher self or the universe itself to channel through you as you write, and bringing to these automatic writing sessions a problem you're trying to solve, or something you're trying to sort out, or something you're trying to understand, a plan that you are trying to enact. And then there's also an opportunity here to script, to embody the future frequency. What are you visioning for yourself? And what does that feel like? What does that look like? Scripting that in the active voice. And then on May 2nd, Mercury enters Taurus, where the planet of communication and connection will remain until May 17th. Mercury in Taurus is all about slow, sensual, purposeful communications, very much about responding rather than reacting. Mercury in Taurus also elicits strong boundaries and a decided mind. So, this is about standing firm, using our words to guide not just ourselves, but other people in how to engage with us in our realms, in our sacred spaces, how to engage with our energy. So, the opportunity here is to remember that Taurus is a fixed earth sign. So, sometimes the energy of Taurus can be a little too firm, it can be a little too stubborn, especially for the Uranus and Gemini, Pluto and Aquarius era. Although Aquarius is also a fixed sign, there is this changeable quality, this ephemeral quality to the sign. So, in these times, if we're feeling discomfort in the rigidity that Taurus can elicit, this is about bringing in the element of water, whether that's hydration, whether that's being with the element of water as you bathe, whether that's going to visit some natural water in the northern hemisphere. Things are warming up, maybe you can go dip your toes in a stream, see a waterfall, visit the beach or a lake, really be with the element of water. Also, a book recommendation that I just love to bring up at any opportunity is Messages from Water in the Universe by Masaru Emoto. To stand your ground, to lean in to the rigidity, feel the support from the earth, ground in, recall the golden root system, always connecting you to the heart of this planet. So there's this energy of speaking your mind and considering your words, really being with the heart of what it is you're trying to say, with the heart of what it is you're trying to create boundary around, what it is you're trying to sense into. And while Mercury is in Taurus, it's being ruled by Venus and Gemini. So there's this invitation toward manifestation through sensual language. And I do mean sensual in every sense of the word. There's sensual in the way of sexy. There's sensual in the way of allowing yourself to feel wanted, allowing yourself to feel sexy, allowing yourself to feel, period, through your language, whether that's using an alluring tone of voice or just stringing words together that elicit something from within you. But I also mean sensual language in the way of when we're scripting. So you wake up in the morning in your dream home. What do you see? What do you smell? What do you eat for breakfast? What do you hear? And so, shortly after Mercury enters Taurus, we have Pluto stationing retrograde in Aquarius on May 6th. And this retrograde will last until October 15th. Now, before we crash out about how long that is, Pluto is actually retrograde for half the year, every year. So, this is always an opportunity to return to the blueprints of your dreams of the future. What holds up and what's ready to shift? This is really about allowing our vision for the revolutionary nature of what's possible for us, what the potential is, allowing it to shift and evolve with us rather than being some stagnant, static vision that we had once and never reframed, never revisited, never revised. And while it's retrograde, Pluto is creating again still that trine to Uranus and Gemini. So there is this pulsating knowing of the future being ours for the taking. So there's an opportunity here to reflect on your journey since October 13th, 2025. And you can especially look at, where Aquarius rules your chart, where Gemini falls in your chart, like what realms are those touching, get a little more specific with it, but also just looking at what have you accomplished? What have you been present to? What has been your primary state of mind? What about your mood? What about your habits? What about the way you connect with community? Like really weaving all these different realms. Since October 13th, how would you characterize your experience? Because that's when Pluto last stationed direct. So Pluto's been direct since October of last year. How far have you come? And where are you positioned in relation to your ideal reality? So, where are you positioned in relation to the last time Pluto stationed direct back in October? Looking back and then looking forward, where are you positioned in regard to where you would like to go? And then architect while Pluto is retrograde. When planets are retrograde, they become more contemplative. They are about revisioning and revising. So use this time to architect, to plan the blueprints of the bridge that you need to carry yourself from where you are to where you want to go. And then a couple days later on May 8th, Mercury is forming a conjunction to the sun in Taurus. So this full-blown conjunction lasts from May 8th to May 17th, but it's going to peak on May 14th. So when we have a Mercury cazimi in any sign, this is always about bursts of insight, breakthroughs, information landing and downloading, right? But in Taurus, this is about bursts of embodied breakthrough. This is not just about like ideation. This is very much about embodiment. It's about taking and cultivating all these ideas that we've had, synthesizing them, integrating them, and embodying them. Information landing by way of the body. So, this is a call to really deeply listen to the impulses of your soft animal body. This is about really creating space for divine downloads to come through. So, in your ritual practices, giving more spaciousness to what's alive rather than going in with any kind of structured plan, really following your impulses. I also think that this is a time of curating a sense of certainty about our manifestations because, again, Venus in Gemini is ruling this cazimi. So we're really able to manifest through sensual language and bring this sense of certainty, this sense of inevitability to our manifestations by way of the body. And on the same day that Mercury moves into orb with the sun, Mars moves into conjunction with Chiron in Aries. So from May 8th through May 18th, Mars is conjunct the wounded healer asteroid in Aries, peaking on May 16th. So Mars, if you look at the glyph of Mars, is poking and prodding everything that he touches. So when Mars rolls through and is conjunct Chiron, it's really poking and prodding at our inner wounds. And collectively, this is in the realm of the self and personal power. You can always look to where Aries rules in your chart to better understand like exactly where this conjunction is happening. But Aries for everyone does represent the self, whether it falls in your first house or not. So the potential pinch here, whatever that looks like for you in the physical, tangible experience, it could be, rubbing up against an obstacle of someone making you feel small. Someone starting a unnecessary argument with you that brings up an old wound. It could be you find yourself acting like your unhealed child self, or, maybe somebody tells you your ideas aren't good. There are a lot of different ways that this can play out. And not all of them have to be bad either. Someone could boost you up, make you feel really, really good about yourself. It really depends on exactly the medicine we're needing from Chiron at the time, right? But there is a potential pinch, and it can look like a million different expressions. But whatever it is, this pinch leads to a breakthrough in healing. So I think the opportunity here is to resist the temptation to rush. Really allow yourself to move from your most healed self. And it's peaking on May 16th, which is actually the day of the new moon. So I'm offering to spend the new moon with us in ceremony. We're actually going to be embodying the medicine of the Phoenix, which is perfect for this transit. And we'll dive a little deeper into that in just a moment. So yeah, Mars moves into that conjunction on May 8th. And then on May 9th, we have a free gathering I'm so excited. This is going to be our makeup call since I missed the Astrology of May with you all. I didn't want to miss our chance for our free live monthly gathering. So instead of doing an Astrology of the Month call, we're just doing a fun little topic. In this workshop, we will discover the basics of vibrational essence creation. I call them elixirs because I find that when I say essence, a lot of times people think of a smell like a perfume. So I say elixir because also I like the word elixir and I think we should say it more. So we'll discover the basics. We'll explore different gemstone and herbal allies that you can utilize to create these elixirs. And I'll also demonstrate best practices for crafting your own essences. You will also receive a PDF download that has a few of my favorite blends to activate cellular Lemurian memories, if that's your thing. So all you have to do is be a free subscriber on Substack. So that brings us to the new moon in Taurus, May 16th, 2026 at 1600 Eastern. The transition from Aries to Taurus adds wood to a blazing flame. So here we're really finding ways to make this frequency last. So in this way, this is a moon of sensual embodiment, of inspiration taking form. And again, noticing a theme here, this is ruled by Venus in Gemini. So I think the first opportunity here is move your body, dance, nourish yourself in every way, craft vibrational elixirs to continue to offer your body the medicine of this moment. So that's kind of why I timed it the way I did, is so that on the 9th, we can gather, talk all things vibrational elixirs. There's time for you to drop into the replay if you can't make it live, so that on the new moon, you can make some new moon in Taurus infused elixirs. And then on the new moon, we have our monthly paid subscriber gathering. This month, we are gathering for Ignite, a Phoenix embodiment ritual on Saturday, May 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern. So, in the modern overculture, we're socially programmed to require sameness. Every day, we put an immense amount of pressure on ourselves as a whole, as a collective, to show up in the same way, succeed the same way we did yesterday, eat the way we did yesterday, dress the way we did yesterday, access the same energy we did yesterday. And the truth is, we're ever evolving. So, for many of us on the spiritual path, it feels absolutely impossible to show up in the exact same essence every single day because we're aware of the inner fires of transformation within us. So, there is a current running through us that is inherently us. And yet, day over day, we find ourselves in a differentiated, fractalized expression of what we can be present to, what our needs are, and how we can best channel our energy into the material realm. So, if this is resonating for you, the Phoenix archetype is ready to support you in the evolutionary current of becoming. So, you're invited. Join us on Saturday, May 16th for Ignite. This embodiment ritual invites ease into spaces of expectation and honors the brightly burning creator within. So, our paid subscriptions are only $8 a month, and they are also available a la carte, these workshops. So, I'll have both of those links for you in the show notes. So, dropping back into the astrology here, the day after the new moon, Mercury enters Gemini from May 17th to June 1st. And as soon as Mercury enters Gemini, it moves into conjunction with Uranus from May 17th to May 20th. So this is about new ideas, new inspirations, new orientations, instantaneous divine downloads, insight as currency for your new world. This is about world building in the mind and in within consciousness, and then watching that ripple out into your tangible experience of reality. So this is an opportunity to share your ideas. The more people that you have visioning your dreams, visioning your visions alongside you, the more likely they are to root. That's the power of the collective, is what Gemini reminds us. So, this is an invitation to attune with like minded, like souled folks who really want to dream that dream with you and cultivate community based on shared values. And then the next day, May 18th, Mars enters Taurus until June 28th. So, this is about bringing all the ideation of Aries season into full bodied fruition, taking aligned action and really moving from what feels right in the body. So, the opportunity here, I think, is to stay hydrated, stay limber, move stuck energy out of the body. This can look like shaking, this can look like tapping, this can look like flowing free movements, really what feels good for you in the moment. And there's also an invitation here to fortify your potential with nourishment. So, through food, the way we're actually energizing our physical being, and with other ways of body temple tending, glamour magic, bath rituals, shower rituals, kitchen witching, infusing magic into the way that you take care of yourself. And on the same day, Venus enters Cancer from May 18th to June 13th. So Venus is moving out of the airwaves of Gemini into Mother Ocean. So this is an opportunity to set some energetic boundaries, set and fortify them. This is a declaration of what's sacred. So first, it's an inventory taking of what is sacred, right, to you? What is important? What is worthy of protection for you? What is in need of protection for you? And then declaring it, making it known, actually setting the boundary intentionally. And this frequency is nurturing and protective and is very much about curating a sense of comfort and security. This is about declaring that your dreams, your future, your energy, your spiritual creations are worthy of protection, are worthy of boundary. So I think the opportunity here is to really consider, like, take inventory of where you're feeling energy leaks, where you're feeling like your boundaries need to be tightened up or even loosened. Make a list, literally, of what's sacred to you. And for each item on your list, ask yourself how you're holding boundaries to make room for that thing, that frequency, that circumstance, that person in your life. So, for example, if what's sacred to you is time to create, if you are constantly letting people distract you from that time to create, there's an opportunity to follow that impulse to protect that time. And then, of course, with Venus and Cancer, Venus in any water sign, there's an opportunity for some seashell, ocean, and water magic in general, bringing those onto the altars, into your rituals, really honoring that very Venusian, Aphrodisian quality. Then a few days later, the sun enters Gemini from May 20th through June 20th, really pulling our focus from embodiment to communication and connection. So it's really bringing us out of a more isolated human experience, really being in our body and our body alone, into an interconnected community space, like a hive mind, like bringing ourselves still in the body and yet also online and connected. And so this begs the question, like, now that you have integrated and processed via the body, what is true for you? What is true for your community? Now that you know what you know, now that your body holds the truth that your body holds, through that integration, what's true now? So I think the opportunity here is, of course, to connect, be witnessed in your new beingness, get a little social, spread your ideas and your truth, and continue to be adaptable as you evolve. And as soon as the sun, much like with Mercury, as soon as the sun enters Gemini, it moves into conjunction with Uranus. So the sun and Uranus are conjunct from May 20th through May 30th, but this conjunction peaks on May 22nd. So, this conjunction really emphasizes the tangible shift from Taurus to Gemini. This is about revolutionary expression, rebellious thought forms, very much countering the vibe of the overculture, especially because that conjunction, again, like we said with Mercury, is going to be trine Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. So it's shedding light on what hasn't worked in the past, yes, but also shedding light on what's next because what worked before didn't work or wasn't working or whatever the story there is. What's ahead? This is about being future forward, informed by the past, but gaze on the future. Does that make sense? So, the opportunity here is to consider how your self expression has shifted since 2018 when Uranus entered Taurus. So, yeah, how has your self expression shifted? What about your worldview, your creative impulses, your confidence, your community? So, journal it out. And then, where do you want to go next? You've looked back. Where do you want to go next? And script that out. And then we're going to close out the month with the full moon in Sagittarius, which I love as a 29-degree Sagittarius moon. Bring it on. This definitely holds the frequency of the explorer. I've been heavy in archetype world since I joined Witch and Famous from Capitolia. Big explorer energy on this moon. This is very much about challenging yourself to expand past your edge into the realm of growth and soul evolution. This is about intuitive wisdom available at light speed and allowing yourself to go on a journey. Although this moon falls outside the window by one day, that Uranus Sun conjunction, the sun is still only 7 degrees away from Uranus and Gemini when this moon is exact. So, although that is outside the orb of what a traditional astrologer would consider conjunct, much like you can hear someone like open the garage door when you're upstairs in a home, and you might be able to say like, "Hey, how's your day?" I can't remember if I've already said this on the podcast, but for the sake of a new listener, somebody gets home, you hear the garage door open, you hear the door into the house open, you can say, "Hey, how'd your day go? How's it going?" But you can't be like, "Hey, how's your day?" So we're not in that like close personal space, but there is still an awareness between the sun and Uranus when this moon is exact. So here there's an opportunity to create room to channel divine downloads, follow your inspiration and curiosity, learn something new. And then, of course, circle up with us in the wake of this moon. It's exact at 4:44 in the morning, Eastern time. So we are going to be gathering, over 12 hours later. But in the wake of that frequency, we're going to circle up and dive into the astrology of June. So this is for all of our free subscribers to wade through the frequencies of the month, highlight potent astrology and dates for ritual work, and attune to the highest timeline available. On the live call, we'll do kind of what we're doing on this episode, and then we will dive into a community sharing circle and sometimes a meditation as well, just depending on what the vibe is of the folks who attend. So you're more than welcome to join us live on Sunday, May 31st at 7 p.m. Eastern, or you can catch the replay as an episode on this podcast on June 1st. So it was so sweet to work on this piece for you today because our very first episode of Inner Orbit with Aubrey and Lily was the astrology of April. And now we're working on the astrology of May. It's so cute. And since then, we have broken 1,000 downloads. I think we're actually broken 1,200 now, which is crazy. Thank you. We've reached over 40 countries, which is insane. And we've launched our first giveaway. So the grand prize winner of our 1K giveaway is going to get an annual subscription to the Substack Inner Orbit and a 30-minute one-on-one session with me in any of my modalities. So that's oracle readings, astrology readings, energy medicine sessions, custom spell work. And 5 runners up will receive a 60-day trial to Inner Orbit, which includes 2 monthly cycles of consistent ritualized astro wisdom direct to your inbox, our Astrology of the Month community call, our monthly exclusive gathering for paid subscribers, instant access to the workshops in our exclusive archives, a monthly ritual or seasonal medicine PDF guide, and then, as always, ongoing discounts on my one on one services and soon to be announced courses. So I'll have the link to enter the giveaway in the show notes for you. But make sure you're subscribed to Inner Orbit on Substack if you're not already, and follow me on Instagram for all the updates on our 1K giveaway. Because if we hit any more milestones, like I don't know, 1,500, maybe even 2,000 downloads, we might just have to sweeten the pot a little. So if you enjoy tuning in or reading along over on Substack, I would love, love, love it if you could leave us a review on either Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. It really helps legitimize a new podcast. And although we are, exceeding my own expectation of where we would be 1 month into this journey together, we're still growing, we're still our wings are still drying. So thank you so much to everyone who has left a review, and thank you so much to everyone who will. If you are a witchy author or entrepreneur, we want to feature your wisdom on the podcast. So be sure to fill out a guest application if that sounds enticing. Again, Blessed Beltane, so sorry we missed each other last night, but so excited to make it up to you in such a cool way. I'll have all that event info for you in the show notes, and I can't wait to see you so soon. Blessed be.